The story of what is known about Alport syndrome begins with Dr. Cecil Alport, who discovered the disease in 1927. But for those affected by the disease, the story of Alport syndrome begins with diagnosis, either of themselves or a loved one. Alport syndrome is a genetic kidney disease that causes kidney failure, hearing loss, and eyesight problems. The majority of those affected are boys who will require dialysis or a kidney transplant by their early 20s. Girls are also affected, but the numbers are smaller due to the way in which the disease is passed from generation to generation. This disease is so devastating because it can affect multiple family members. It is a never-ending cycle. There is no known cure for Alport syndrome. When a patient is diagnosed with Alport syndrome, they may be filled with questions about physical symptoms, treatment options, lifestyle changes, and the inevitable outcome. On top of all this, they realize that Alport syndrome will affect not only them, but their whole family. It is often a waiting game, when patients know they have the disease, but don't know when it will strike. Where can I turn to help me find answers to all these questions? One place is the Alport Syndrome Foundation.
Hi, my name is Sharon Lagas, and I'm the president of the Alport Syndrome Foundation. And I know firsthand how devastating and overwhelming it is to be diagnosed with Alport syndrome. I lost my brother to the effects of Alport syndrome when he was 38 years old. The same month that I lost my brother, my two boys were diagnosed with the disease. And we also realized that my brother's two girls, my nieces, were carriers of Alport syndrome. We were devastated, we were overwhelmed, and we only wanted to connect with other families dealing with the same thing. Unfortunately, there were no support groups for Alport syndrome at that time. I was lucky enough to find several other families affected by the disease and some concerned friends to help us launch the Alport Syndrome Foundation. The Alport Syndrome Foundation is here to provide answers, resources, and a community of support so that no one ever feels alone again when they're diagnosed with this disease.
We take action by funding research with the best and brightest in the medical community to make important advances in treating and preventing the disease. The Alport Syndrome Foundation exists to educate and empower patients and families affected by Alport syndrome. The Alport Syndrome Foundation provides hope that in our lifetime a cure will be found. We offer hope to kids so they can ask, what college will I go to? And not, will I be able to go to college? Hope to parents so they can worry about their kids' scraped knees and not their failing kidneys. Our goal is to fund research to find a cure because patients need our help.
My son Robbie died last year at age 22, and I lost my husband Bob when he was just 41. They suffered for many years before completely surrendering to Alport syndrome. And I'm committed to the Foundation's mission of finding effective treatments and a cure for other patients.
Alport syndrome claimed the life of my uncle at 62 and nearly my sister's at 32, but I'm hopeful that with the advances in research that my son and I will have a better prognosis. The knowledge we've gained with love and support from the Alport Syndrome Foundation has been a true blessing for our family, and we're thrilled to be able to support their mission and services.
I went on dialysis when I was about 37 years old, and I had a newborn baby at the time, and because of Alport syndrome, I really lost that precious time with her in her first year of her life.
With no family history of Alport syndrome, our son Michael's diagnosis at age 3 came as a complete shock. The Alport Syndrome Foundation has provided our family with vital information and much needed support. A future without Alport syndrome is our greatest dream. We join the Foundation in its mission for a cure.
Please join us in our fight against Alport syndrome.
There's only one requirement: your desire to make a difference in the lives of patients and families dealing with this disease.
Donate, volunteer, advocate. Join us and make a difference.
Visit us today at www.alportsyndrome.org to find answers about research and treatment, a community of volunteers and patient advocates, or even a fundraiser near you. Help us tell the end of the Alport syndrome story. www.alportsyndrome.org